Balaji. Are we live, Balaji?
Yes, sir. I just started, sir. We are live.
Okay, great. So I just noted that. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be back here live for yet another live session with the learners of our course, Technology Forecasting for Strategic Decision Making. We have total of 3 live sessions during the course. Okay, so this is the second one, and the third one is going to be, I believe, next week. And after that, one last one. We will have it after, just before the exams, because lots of people are preparing for the exams who are registered. For their purpose, we will have one more during just before the exam time. So the next one we are scheduled to have is today's 4th of February. So 11th of February is our third live session. So these live sessions are mainly to interact with you on a synchronous fashion. I am a big fan of online courses. I like the fact that I can pause the video, I can learn at my own pace, I can slow it down at any order I want. This is great. But however, we certainly don't think it's a replacement for the human-to-human connect in learning and sharing ideas with each other. So I always strongly believe, and I'm joined by Siddharth and Professor Dimitri in agreeing to the fact that we need live sessions. So we have these live sessions where we are synchronous. But of course, we know that you have pressures of work and colleges and organizations that you work for. You may not be able to log in all the time. You can always use the discussion forum to express your thoughts, your feelings, or any doubts or questions that you may have on any content, anything in the course at all. So 1 out of 3 of us or more of us will be happy to log in and let our thoughts, share our thoughts on the forum as well. So with that, I would now open the forum. I just wanted to quickly go around the table. Professor Dimitri and Siddharth are also here with me, not the only one here. Plus, we have some participants who logged on as well. Yeah. Professor Dimitri.
Thank you, Bala, for introduction. I'd like just to add something from experience. Of course, the people who are learning and who are interested about certificate after the course, you already read the conditions. But last year, we saw some issue that students, they postponed the assignment. And finally, when the time window was closed for assignment, the students who successfully passed the exam but did not submit the assignment, they did not receive their certificate. So please do not postpone your assignments. Do them regularly. And of course, when you are doing your assignment, you can face with some questions. Do not hesitate to use the forum and the page of the course to ask your questions, because these live sessions, we mostly would like to answer your questions. Okay, so we collect questions. Some of them, the technical or administrative one, was perfectly answered by Siddharth. Thank you, Siddharth, for doing so in between sessions. Yeah, and some of them we are going to discuss right now together with you. But when your questions are submitted, we can prepare our answers the best way, which are more interesting for you. Okay. So I'd like just to ask with some questions that I collected from what was submitted into the forum, and let us start with the first one about the hype cycle. Okay, I'm going to share my screen in order to make the question visible. And in this case, you can, okay, something goes wrong, not like it is supposed to go. I'm sorry for that. I don't know why it suggests me to share. Okay, I'd like to share this screen. Okay, just a second, please. With the PowerPoint, you're always sharing not what you want, but what software is supposed from you. Okay. Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Is it
see
okay? So you can see the question, and now I'd like just to put some comments. Is a hype cycle? This is something, some means which are widely used by Gartner Consulting Company in order to communicate about some emerging technologies. And the question is this cycle helpful for forecasting and taking decision for the investments and in vaccine platform technology? For me, this hype cycle is not useful to make any decision about investments. I can explain why. Because here on this diagram, you see expectations. You don't see the real value of technology. To make investments, we need to make assessment of real value of technology in presence or in the future. So the first part of your question, no, this cycle cannot be helpful. It can be useful just to know what people are talking about, more or less synthetic way, and what people, English-speaking world, part of the world are talking about. But don't forget that English-speaking part of the world it is not all the planet. Be aware how many people around the globe are speaking in English and who are representing this cycle. As the second part of this question, please help me with some examples related to healthcare technology, specifically related to vaccine delivery system, like needle-free injection. So we receive from time to time such questions like, Professor, look to your crystal ball and give me advice. Okay, we are not a magician with a crystal ball. So personally, I cannot answer for your question, especially about healthcare technology. But what can I answer? I can suggest you how can you proceed in order to get the valuable answer, educated answer, reasonable, not emotional one. Okay, first of all, if you're talking about needle-free injections of any kind of medicament or vaccine in particular, okay, we need to define the function of the system. What does it do? Okay, and compare it with the alternative. So when we define the system by its function, we are ready to collect data about the system. What are the ways, what are the systems that perform the same function? Needle-free injections, they are well known for decades, more than 20 years. If you look to the patents, you can find even 30 years ago, some of them. And some of them were also used even for vaccination. But which kind of vaccine you are talking about? You are talking about vaccine for our coronavirus, or you're talking about vaccine for poliomyelitis? Okay, those are different things. So that's why you need to understand your system through its function. And you need to understand why this way is used, not another one. This will help you to predict your technology diffusion through the numbers. I believe that I answered this question. If not, restate your question and make it more clear for the next session. The second question.
May I add something?
Yes,
Sorry,
please.
David,
please.
may I add something to that? Yeah, so I would like to add to what Professor Dimitri just remarked on the function. The function, we define it that what is it doing on what. So the more specific we get with the function, the more clearer the definition of the function itself, the answers become evident. We also look at the business context around it. So I fully agree with Professor Dimitri that this is not a forecasting, and yes, it is forecasting, but it is not for the sake of validation of what you want to do. it should be posed as a question and looked at it objectively. So if you are looking at, you've already taken the decision and you're looking for some ways to sort of, cross check that, this is not going to work so well because you've already made up your mind. So the clearer the definition of the function, clearer the business context in which the decision has to be taken, and with an open mind, with objective, you look at it objectively, even be surprised with the end result of the forecast. If you're ready to accept that, then this exercise is meaningful and will be more specific, and you can then take an informed decision. Of course, the decision is finally yours if you're in that position. So that's what I thought I would add to what Professor Dimitri already remarked. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bala, for making this comment available. Okay, now I'd like to shift to the next question. Okay, and now the next question was about confusion for the framework of forecasting and strategic planning that we introduced in body of our course. And according to my understanding of the question, this is a story about this diagram. On this diagram, we said that we are doing forecasting in order to support strategic planning. And when we are doing forecasting, we have a forecast, we have an answer for questions, which we are using the answer for these questions to make strategic plans. And let me go to the question. The question is that I got confused regarding the flow chart shown with the data information taken from the environment and then planning for the forecasting. Let us make clear, when we are talking about forecasting, strategic forecasting, we are talking about activities which will not tell you what you have to do, but it will tell you what will be the conditions in which you are going to operate. Because the wrong perception of our course and the methodology for strategic forecasting, that people think, those guys can tell me what should I do. Not at all. Let me give you a simple analogy in order to illustrate what I'm talking about. If you are going to make a party, or you are going to make a hiking or climbing in the mountains, okay, we are not going to tell you the party will be better, but we are going to tell you what will be the weather in this particular area for this particular time, and you will decide, are you going to go out for hiking or you are going to go out for the party? Okay, the idea of methods that we are sharing with you, okay, it is not to give you the advice what you have to do, not at all. It's you and yourself, you will decide what to do or not, but the idea is to describe the landscape, what's going to happen with technologies within a time when you try to invest to the emerging technology, or when you try to invent, or when you try to build startup, and so on and so that. Okay, so that's why we rely on the data and information taken from the environment, from the context, but particular context in particular country. Look, if I just come back to my diagram, look what happens when we have a forecast. We already have a plan. Okay, we already have a plan and we have a forecast. And for instance, you have a plan to start implementation of new technology for listening music, which is alternative for streaming. We make a forecast that streaming in your market is going to grow for coming 10 years. What does it mean? You can adjust your plan. For instance, you're going to invest to another technology, or you're going to postpone your implementation. So that's why we adjust our plan and we restate our questions and we make a forecast. Is it, and when, what we are going to do according to our strategic plan is relevant and is well aligned with what will be the weather. Okay, so in this case, you can implement plan and you can get outcome and you can have new data information for the next planning. I suppose that this confusion was due to the fact that I was not really well explained. What does it mean, strategic forecasting? Strategic forecasting, this is about evolution of system, not about lifetime of system. And this is different. This is absolutely different from what is demand forecast, for instance, or what is the forecast of diffusion of existing technology on the market. The comment about biases in the methodologies that we suggest for your attention, we combine quantitative and qualitative analysis. And quantitative analysis, when it is performed by very different group, different students, according to methodology, usually produce the same result. This is what we name scientifically proved way. So it is not a trial method at all. This is a systematic study about the system, but not on the level of structure, but on the level of function, which allow us to see unbiased way, which is usually not seen when we kind of advocate for photovoltaic technology. Photovoltaic technology, for instance, they convert light emission to the electricity. This is a function, okay? And if we need electricity, this is a generation of electric power. This is a function that we are looking for. From looking through the function, we can always, looking from the system point of view, we can always be less biased. And just this part of the question, some technology forecasts we might leave a trail of pollutant and lot of damage to natural resources. This is exactly opposite. We are doing forecast, we are doing technological forecast in order to stop trial and errors, because the trial and errors, they are very expensive today, because the scale of implementation of technology is incomparable, which was the scale of implementation of technologies in 20th century. Today, some technology can be scaled very, very fast due to the worldwide collaboration all around the world. So that's why, and the Human Development Index, if I take the measurement from United Nations, we are talking about level of wealth, okay, per capita, level of health, and level of education, which is essential for our development. If I properly took the question, I tried my best to answer. Do you have some comments or some adds about this part of our discussion?
May I, Dimitri? So I would think that what the question seems to be relating is that forecasts, when they are made, are more like directions that are given out there, which when people see it, we are going to take it as this is what is going to happen, and that's going to sort of make them take this decisions or actions towards fulfilling that forecast, sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So it is for these forecasts, one of the key differentiators between forecasts and prophecies, okay, is that forecasts are indicators or directions that with a certain amount of confidence, you can say that, okay, this might happen. Okay, so that's what we say. Prophecies, as in stories and in fiction, you find prophecies, or in some works of knowledge that you would from the past, you can see prophecies. those are primarily with 100% certainty that they would say that this is going to happen. That's what prophecies are. Technology forecasts are not prophecies. Okay, they are not telling you the absolute truth of what will happen. Again, we can't reiterate that often, that forecasts should not be judged at their whether they come out true or not. It should be judged with the quality of your decision making process. So, and that's what the chart was all about. If you think about it, if you zoom out and look at what are we trying to do in the flow chart, we are trying to make our decision making mechanism stronger by having this feedback loop. That's exactly what that was conveyed through that chart. Is the more we forecast, the more decisions we make, our decision making gets stronger. And not, it has nothing to do with validating the forecast. We are not working towards validating a forecast. So it is to make the decision making as strong as we can with feedback built in. That's sort of what I gather from this question, is that what if we take forecasts as prophecies? No, you should not. They are totally different things. Prophecies are, according to me, works of fiction, works of super intuitive individuals who think this is going to happen with or without data, with or without backing. Forecast is forecasting, at least the one that we talk about in this course, comes with a scientific backing, and lots of research goes into it, and it is tested. The methodology is tested. One of the key factors in which we test it is whether it is repeatable, whether it is learnable, whether it is transferable. If we can do all this, then the methodology has its weight, and we can take this as and you will see iterations of the method also. We question every aspect of the method. Does it work? Does it not work? We will look at this. As with any other scientific process, we will also subject this methodology to the same rigor that is required. So trial and error, hit and miss is something that is not appreciated. Because why? Because this is a scientific method. We want it to be repeatable, learnable, and transferable. Okay. So that was my trial to support what you just said, Dimitri.
Yeah, thank you, Bala. Thank you. I can just give you an example for all the people who are listening to us and who are interested about this question. I can give an example from forecasting project that we performed with European Institute for Energy Research in 2004. There is a technology, fuel cell technology, which is looks like very promising, because the byproduct of this way of generating electricity, this is just pure water, purified water. Okay, so, and this technology from space technology are well known. It was tested in Apollo program somehow in 60s. This technology proved to generate electricity with a hydrogen-rich gas. Okay, you feed system by hydrogen-rich gas, and you have electricity and the pollution. Okay, only the water. So good. 2004, we met the team research team who worked on the prototype for the market for stationary application of such devices for remote sites, like the house in the mountains and other things. And they already had installed prototypes in mountains in 10 places around in France, around the place of Strasbourg. And the question was very simple. How about in 10 years, this product on the market? And the answer was also very straightforward and simple. There is no opportunity. This was 2004, 2005 project in coming 14 years for European market. Do you like or not the answer? Okay, that we, with a reliable forecast, we can build the answer for the question, but any forecast comes from the question. Okay, the question is state, and usually it consists 3 main parts: what, when, and where. So what was the result? The research team who worked on this project They continue to do research about fuel cell, but the leaders of this team, they were promoted on the career since those time, and one of the chief researcher of this team now, she is engaged in policy making in European institution level. So the knowledge about future gives us opportunity to take educated decision with a minimum losses. This is the main idea. This is the main idea of our course, to help us to see future not as we like, but as it will be, objective way. The second question is more or less technical, but I'd like just to help you to answer this question as well. Somebody asked that the link to video of system and set cannot be found. Okay, I don't want to give you the link. Okay, I'd like to give you the way you will find the link. You go to the YouTube, you put into the search system and set like that, and you will arrive to the video which is from Systems Innovation. Systems Innovation, this is a course which is delivered by some of the institutions which is available at YouTube. Please do not confuse. You need to look to the Systems Innovation, and it will help you to learn the difference between system and set. Okay? Because when we're predicting, this is very, very important. Yeah, probably I can do it right now, and I can give you the link in this case in the chat. Okay, YouTube. I do what I suggested you to do. Systems and set. Okay, and this is as fast as. Yeah.
I have the link. Do you want me to paste it? I can do it.
Yeah, I did it.
Oh,
it's
you did.
Already
Okay,
done.
great.
Yeah, it's already done. Well, the next question that I'd like to discuss, this is about Internet of Things. And the question which was stated that somebody of our learners is interested about Internet of Things branch in order to support the decision. Once again, you asked me kind of question that I have to look to the crystal ball. Once again, we know how to apply the methodology. We apply it regularly with companies, but I have no answer for any question in my pocket. What I can share with you, I can share with you how can you get this answer yourself confidently. And what is interesting that with different learners who participate in the course, they will try to get it independently. You will arrive to same conclusion. So yes, it's a good idea to look at the data. But which data we have to look? First of all, we have to look to the data about system which already perform the function that Internet of Things supposed to perform. And for instance, I didn't make deep analysis because it has to be really rethink. But if I take one of the function which is most interesting today from Internet of Things, this is an automatically collection of data. Okay, what Internet of Things is interesting, that we don't need people who are putting data into the computers, but the data flow injected into the information systems due to the sensors installed. So this is more or less what we are talking about when we are talking about Internet of Things. There are sensors which communicate through the network, okay, and which provide us data. So let's define the function of this system first of all. And let us see how this function is performed now. And when we're analyzing this function, We need to understand how system function, because for the sensors, whatever sensor you have to feed them by some energy. Where is from energy? And there is an interesting forecast which was made according to Internet of Things. We just show this forecast just showed that if we are going to continue to feed our sensors the same way like we are feeding them right now, with the batteries or with rechargeable batteries, even with rechargeable batteries, it is not feasible. Because when we are talking about 25 billions of sensors, okay, which are part of our devices, can you calculate how many batteries do we need? And if we make an assumption that each battery has to be replaced, be optimistic, once in 5 years, you can arrive to how many people do we need in order to replace these batteries. And believe me, you'll be surprised. This is a way of systematic analysis. You know, you start with a function. After that, you see how it is performed. And your forecast becomes, you know, measurable. Because if we measure, we manage. If we don't measure, we don't manage. So, wheel decision. Okay, the question they said. Okay, we are interested to know the answer in order to increase seats of Internet of Things or not to increase. This is a very good comment that disclose what we are doing within this course, because with the forecast we try to understand the value of technologies. The value. What is the value of technology for company? To invest into this technology or step out? This is a very generic question that we are trying to answer. To go for the hiking or not to go for the hiking? What will be the weather in particular area for that? And we need to know this reliably. The answer like probably it will be sunny, probably it will be rainy, doesn't work, because in a business context we will just lose everything that we invested into. I believe that I gave you some ideas how to approach the question about Internet of Things.
Sorry, just to clarify that question, I think that was from a person who is the head of department. HOT is probably HOD, head of department of an educational institution. And their decision, let's say a business, quote unquote, business decision is whether should I increase the number of people who can be admitted to my college or university in the coming years. Should I increase the capacity or not, based on the evolution of Internet of Things as a technology, as an industry itself. So they want to make a education institution decision based on the evolution of technology. That's the core of the question. So I think it, if I may, I mean, I don't know if you're done with the, if I may,
but if we have this person around the table, probably he can step on the stage and he can or she can present the question more clearly in order to help us to answer.
If the person who posed the question is right here, then we can have them explain it. In case this is what I understand from the question. So based on what I read, is that this is an educational institution and they want to increase the number of students who can be admitted to their college or university based on the demand that will be there for such a technology and based on that technology. So I would think this is like a so this is educational institution which will educate students in the field of Internet of Things, who will then go on to work for companies who will work in the field of Internet of Things based on the evolution of Internet of Things in the industry itself. So I would think it's a 3-tier sort of problem. So I don't think you can straight away start working on the demand of internet, the evolution of internet things, and make a decision of what students should study. I think that there are two levels to this. In my own opinion, I have not done a deep dive into this, as Professor Dimitri also admitted. I feel that the study that you will probably have to conduct would be on the industry of internet. If the internet of things picks up, that's a vast field on its own. What functionality are we looking at specifically? Is it of a specific branch of engineering? Are we looking at specific function? Are we looking at, and then boil it down to, okay, if that is the case, then what is the number of companies that are going to look at this as a viable technology? And in that case, how much of people will they need in the organizations to take this technology ahead, and then forecast the demand? I think it's a very, very complex problem to deal with it, whether to make this. But it will require some amount of thinking and going back and forth, applying. But this can be a great case study for you if you take our methodology in the course and apply it systematically. I would strongly suggest that. Start with the business context, define the function, get the data out, and then answer the question, so sort of in a condensed format. So that would be my trial to answer or attempt to answer this question. To me, it looks like a very complex scenario to deal with.
Yes, thank you, Bala, for precising the condition of the question, which was formulated. I was not aware about. It just reminded me the project that we performed in Chile about copper mining industry. In 2011, I was involved into the project about technology forecasting, about mining industry technologies, particularly which are used for crushing ores before the enrichment. And one of the output of this project was the changes of education programs in engineering school in Santiago de Chile. Okay, why? Because the people who was involved into this project, and we from our side, we delivered the methodology, we animated sessions, and we prepared the results. But the specialists around the table, they found out the agreement, what has to be taught and what has not to be taught. Okay, which knowledge are obsolete and which knowledge has to be researched, and which kind of final projects for students to suggest in order to help them to become specialists exactly in time when technology will arrive to the market. As a result of this project, we suggested 35 years technology forecast about mining industry, particularly for copper mining, because the copper mining in Chile, this is very critical industry, which provide about 70 to 80% of GDP for this country. This is a country number one in the world for producing fine copper. Yeah. So the scenario is not so complicated. It's the same. We predict the technology with the help of specialists from domain, and on the basis of this prediction, we make conclusion what will be the education program, what we have to keep and what we have to withdraw from education program. Because today we are, with all around the world, these uncertainties generate a lot of hours for students, which becomes not feasible because the students, they cannot stay 10 hours per day in schools. This is not feasible. Thank you for precising this. Do you have some other questions, or I can shift to suggesting you something?
One request I have from my side, Professor Dimitri, is if you can share the link to the published paper of your case. I know you published it. If you can even share this with
about mining industry, you are talking which one?
the
About
mining
industry. Yeah, about mining industry, it will be published in the coming future, probably this year, because now this is already in the journal, and which exactly months they will publish it, I still have no information. But the case example usually we communicate within a advanced course. When we deliver the course with practical projects, I communicate this case example with students of mine in detail. Okay, the paper will be published this year. This is short answer for your demand.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's helpful. Yeah, we'll be eager to read the paper.
Yeah, in the paper, it is supposed to describe this case example in order to illustrate research and future methodology.
Oh. So, should we switch to the questions from last week? Dimitri, Siddharth had compiled these questions into a presentation, and he has it ready. Yes, okay, please. Over to you, Siddharth.
Yes, sir. Just a moment. So you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Just shall I read out the question?
No, that's okay.
Oh.
This is question about benchmarking or forecasting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, there are different seasons in evolution of each company, and usually we perform benchmarking when company arrive to the end of exponential growth of their business. The growth of business can be measured in number of sold products or number of sold services to clients. It can be measured also to the revenue, but the benchmarking usually appear in this season when we approach the end of growth. When forecasting, this is exactly what happens after this season. The forecasting, this is when we are looking for the question, what will be the next technology that we are going to invest? Okay. So if, for instance, IBM, they were world-recognized specialist in manufacturing notebooks, okay, ThinkPad notebook. But in 2007, okay, they sold this business to Lenovo because for them, according to their forecast, they had to go to another domain and to build another product, another service. So today, IBM, this is a number one for providing a solution based on artificial intelligence on the platform like Watson. When company behind its competitors, okay, it depends on the target of the company. The one strategy can be to start with another business and technology, or to catch up their competitors. So this is a red blue ocean strategy. So this will be my trial to answer this question according to my understanding. Is it okay or not? Who stated this question?
that information is a little difficult to find right now.
Yeah, but if they are around the table, they can
If they
raise
are
their
online,
hand.
yeah, please feel free to join in. Guys.
Okay, what is the role of technology for forecasting innovation and how one can start the entrepreneurship? Yeah, good question. Good question. Entrepreneurship, usually this is not so much about technology. This is more about our clients and the values that we can build with technologies, according to mine. The technology forecasting helps us to answer for the question to go or not to go with certain invention. Imagine a situation, you invented some device or some process, you have them in your hand, it works, it is feasible, you tested it, you even put the patent in order to protect it. When you put the patent, it means you're supposed to get money back. But are you going to start right now? You're going to start later, or you're going to just sell the patent? This is a question that technology forecast can help you to answer. Because often what happens, if we try to enter with our ideas too early, this is a good idea to sell the patent for the portfolio of another company. If we enter too late and we are at the too early or too late, this is a technology forecast that helps us to answer. This was my trial to answer this question.
I would like to add is that there are three aspects to any entrepreneurship journey. Is only one pillar is the technology or the feasibility part. The other is the if you look at the Stanford's model of design thinking. So this is the other course we take, is right. We talk about customer desirability. If you have figured out what they want in the right timing that they want, so that's what ties into what Professor Dimitri already remarked about. What is the pull from the market for what is the need? So the timing of that is that, are they ready for it or not? So that's the desirability, or do people really want it or not? Then this third aspect. So first is a technical feasibility, which according to you, you've already figured that out. Second is whether people need it or not. The third is how well can you manage the money, right? So you need resources in order to sustain this venture, this business, the startup that you have. So all these three put together will make sure that your entrepreneurship journey is successful. So in figuring this out, if you miss out on one, of course, this is not going to work so well. If you have, but in this course, we can help you with the one pillar, which is the technology feasibility part of it. In the future, how it pans out in using data, using intuition, using the constructs that we given in the course. That is something that we can say for sure. But the desirability part is something that you will have to invest time in trying to figure things out from the market, and of course, managing the money. How much of it can you get? How much of it can you invest is going to depend on how good you are with money, or do you have somebody who can take care of this. So according to me, you need all three pillars, not just one. And in this course, we're talking about one. Okay, yeah. So that's my trial to look at this from that angle itself.
Yeah, just to complete this answer, you can find in the chart one of the interesting presentation to my mind, which is just 6 minutes presentation about the single biggest reason why startups succeeded. I was surprised that the speaker talking about timing, the right timing. This is a really very factor. And the timing, this is what we are answering with a properly done technology forecast, which include social, environmental, economics, and technological dimensions. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Income. How we make technology forecasting as our income source. Okay. So it's very easy. We don't lose money, you know, because if you don't forecast, if you do it just, you know, by your intuition and randomly, our intuition is very good for the short term within a life cycle span, but it is not as good for the long term, for evolutionary changes. And it is perfectly shown by researchers like Daniel Kahneman and others, people who are discussing how we are taking decisions. Daniel Kahneman, he is a Nobel Prize scientist about economy. One of his contribution today, well known, grew up into the behavioral economics. So we don't lose money. So we convert it to our income.
What we don't lose, we keep. Yes, I agree. Yeah. I don't think you know, to monetize forecasts is to keep knowledge in one place and not let it flow. I don't know. In universities, we are against doing that. You know, we want information to be known to lots of people. That's why we publish. We let it go. So I think to keep a forecast and to is to me counterintuitive. That is my own personal opinion, of course. Okay, so I do agree that you know, you can make your decision making better. So this is going to be indirect, because always in even in this course we have talked about strategic decision making, but that's the context or the boundary and in which technology forecast operates. So the money making machine is outside the realm, at least as we project it, as we describe it. So to me, it's the context in which technology forecasting operates, but how you use it, how you can get better at it, is to follow that feedback loop of starting with how good is your forecast and make the decision making you know, loop better, the feedback loop better by the cycles that we bring in. Look at it, how it fared, and then tweak the decision making you know, engine, so to speak, better, and that's probably will indirectly lead to better income. Okay, I don't know, that's my hand waving because it's outside my context. So that again, my trial. Okay, I'm honest. Honest trial at this question, but very interesting question all the same, makes me think.
We received a question from a chart. What are career opportunities in technology forecasting domain? I'm not sure that I really got this question properly, because what I have in mind about career opportunities and knowledge about future, you know, what are the career opportunities of being good in mathematics? Okay, if we are good in mathematics, we can do a lot of marvelous things. The same with the technology forecasting. But if you look to the, you know, how can we profit from this in terms of career, this is an open question. I'd like just to say my personal experience that at the company side, most of the people, they don't believe that long-term forecast is possible. Okay, and this is a common sense belief. But what we can learn from most successful companies all around the world, they practice forecasting. long-term forecasting, and they take decision on the basis of this long-term forecasting. This is, kind of contradiction between common sense and the practical evidence. Yeah. So we are approaching the end of our live session. Unfortunately, we didn't answer all questions that Siddharth prepared for us. Probably
We can take one last question, Professor, if we have the time.
Which one? Can you just share? Probably this short one. How we make. Okay, please provide the link to article forecasting growing, the Australian article. Yeah, I discussed this last time. I suggested the title to the book, and there are plenty of articles like that. Okay, we will give you the link the next time. Just a second. If my computer will be fast enough, I will give 2 links just in a couple of minutes, and to 2 different articles, not exactly to this one, because today they are okay. My computer is not fast enough in order to be. But no, we will do it next time, I guess, because we have to close our session. We will do it next time.
No, I have it. I think I can share.
Go.
Yeah, there. I've shared it in the Zoom chat, and I will also do it in the link. Yeah, there you go. I just shared this. This is something that forecast going wrong. The Australian article, famous forecast which missed the market. I think this News Australia had published this. And I did not include that in the video itself. I think I just had hyperlink, but here it is in the Zoom chat as well as in the YouTube chat. Okay, so yeah, have fun with that.
Thank you, Bala.
I think that's pretty much the time we have for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for your very, very interesting questions, interesting thoughts. Please do keep those coming. It keeps us on our feet. We would like to be of use to you in knowing what is clear, what is not clear, what is something that you can understand really, whereas something that you find you struggle in understanding. Anything, just let us know. We would be happy to know all that. So thank you so much, Professor Dimitri and Siddharth, also for this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, everybody, all the learners who logged in from on Zoom as well as on YouTube, and people who are watching this recording. Thank you so much. See you next week then.
See you next week.
2:30 p.m. India time. Okay. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 All of you. Bye.